I don't know about you, but I prefer to be leaner year round. My face looks good, I fit well in clothes, and I look good on the beach. However, when it comes to trying to build muscle and stay lean, that's a huge issue for a lot of guys. And that's why in this video, I'm going to show you how you too can lean gain like our clients here and build muscle with minimal body fat gained, so you don't have to feel sluggish or bloated or spend months trying to lose that body fat. Now, just to make sure we're on the same page, what is lean gaining? Well, it's actually just the same as bulking. Yes, you want to eat at a slight calorie surplus, but you want to do it with discipline. A lot of guys just start eating like a pig, eating out of excuses and just having whatever they like because they want to build muscle or be anabolic. You'll end up like this. Yes, I put on some size when I was younger, but my face started to puff up. I had skin issues. I felt really lethargic. I had low energy. It just wasn't a good time. And I did this for years thinking there was no other way. But there is a better way. It just takes a bit of discipline and some smarter systems that we're going to give you right now. So who is this for exactly? Well, if you're like me, you prefer to stay lean year round. Maybe you're already happy with the amount of muscle that you have, or maybe you're just not obsessed with gaining every single pound or gram of muscle. And so you have the maturity and patience to sustain a nice 4, 6, 8 month lean gain to see some results like our clients here, where look, we lean them down and then we build from there. We don't put the body fat back on. And that's where most guys have the issue. They do all the work to get lean, but then they put it back on. Or maybe you're Sam, who's, always really struggled to put on tissue. And if he did, it would just get fat. Now, in a matter of months, I think it's only 3 months here, he's already put on some really good size with his delts and relatively lean still. And so step one, the most important principle here is to auto-regulate. You need to be able to adjust your calories and activity depending on how you're looking in the mirror, your rate of weight gain, which we'll get into in a moment. But you need to be able to do that on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. You need to understand, okay, what's my rate of weight gain? How am I looking in the mirror? And adjust accordingly. You've got to auto-regulate. It's very important and something you need to master, which is something we teach our clients. Now, step two, there's no point giving you extra calories if you don't have certain variables optimized so that the calories go to the right place. See this all the time. Guys start trying to gain muscle, but maybe the recovery is just not on point, but the training is. There's no point. There's no point until we've got the sleep in. So what are those variables? Training needs to be intense. You need to be training at or close to failure, using that as a tool. You need to be training frequently and consistently. Part of your training is the exercises themselves. So are they programmed according to your weak spots or lagging body parts to make sure that those calories are going to the muscles with the highest potential of growth? Then the nutrition, so a slight calorie surplus, 250 cal, no more. You want a good amount of protein for recovery and obviously muscle protein synthesis. Good gut health, something we don't see often spoken about. But if you're inflamed in your gut through additives, through stress, through sleep deprivation, you could be missing out on recovery through nutrients. The micronutrient density, so a wide variety of nutrient dense foods. I'm not going to go into them, but a vast array of them and a nice variety throughout the week and month is going to make sure that hormonally we're operating, energetically, our metabolism, all those things are firing on all cylinders, that we can recover and of course build muscle as well. Carbohydrate timing. So we'll go further into this, but pre and post workout and also evening as well to help with recovery and recovery itself. So looking at number one, our sleep. I mean, just lifting alone, you build some muscle, but if participants were to lift and then implement a sleep program where they focus on the REM sleep and deep sleep, they're building more muscle. So that's something you definitely want to look at before even contemplating upping your calories or changing your training. How are you sleeping? Okay. You can see how this all comes together to create a successful lean gain. Now, if you are ticking the boxes with all these, it is simply just a matter of time, and you just have to let the process do its thing with muscle being at a fixed rate. So once you hit this proverbial ceiling, there's no point adding more calories. It's not necessarily going to go to building more muscle because the body has all the nutrients and building blocks it needs to do this. You've just got to be able to consistently tick these boxes so that over 3, 6, 9 months, you build muscle with minimal body fat gain. Because if you don't, let's say your calorie maintenance here and your body only needs like 250 calories to build muscle, anything after that is literally just going to go to fat. If you accept that, you are ready. Okay, if you accept that this is the superior way for you and you accept that, okay, I need to actually focus on these and not just eat more calories and train, you actually have to take this seriously and have a diligent strategic plan, then we first need to figure out, number one, our numbers. Now, very simply, figure out calorie maintenance. You can do loads of calorie calculators online. I'll leave one in the description below. You want to eat at your calorie maintenance or just above. Again, this is something you want to play around with depending on your rate of weight gain, how you're looking in the mirror, your amount of activity. There are so many variables. That's why we're having a coach comes in and can look at it from a non-biased point of view, can help you make or avoid making irrational decisions that often end up with excess fat gain. So once you've got your calories figured out, protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Fats should be about 1 gram per kg of body weight. So if you weigh 80 kg, that's like 180 pounds, so 80 kg, that could be 80 grams of fat. Definitely don't put your fats below 50 grams for hormonal reasons. And then your carbohydrates, you just fill the remaining calories you have left from your protein and fats up to your calorie maintenance. So that could fall between 200 to 300 carb, depending on the person. These two can fluctuate on preference, all right? But your protein remains largely the same. Now, activity, we're just going to say it's at 6K, 6,000 steps daily. That's not too low, it's not too high. If we get more, great. Obviously, if we have a bit more like 10K steps, we would probably have an additional 150 cal. Again, auto-regulate principle. Now, what is the rate of weight gain, Alex? Like, how will I know that I'm not going too fast or too slow? Well, if you weigh, for example, 180 pounds or 80 kg, a beginner could be like 0.4 to 0.8 pound per week or 0.2 to 0.4 kg per week. Intermediate, that is less, again, because we have less capacity to grow. And of course, advanced is like me, is very, very low as well. So you can see here, guys, like 0.1 to 0.25 pound per week. You sum that up over a month, that's only a pound on the upper end of that scale. Now that's 1 month, but for someone like me who's advanced, you do that over a year, it's 12 pounds. And even that's probably not going to be all muscle. So you can see how it's better to be conservative here, not get too caught up with the rate of weight gain. Look at the mirror, look at your performance in the gym, use this as a rough guidance, but there's some numbers. Now, step 2 is to actually set up your training, set up the stimuli that's going to give your body a reason to put these calories to use. So train as much as you realistically can. Now, this isn't, I'm not saying you have to train 6-7 days a week, but a good starting point for a lot of guys who are busy and have a life outside the gym, 4-day is really, really good. Now, train intensely with those sessions. You need to be training at or close to failure strategically. You need to make each set and rep count, and you need to be progressing in some kind of way every single week. If you're not, there's going to be room for improvement with our recovery, the training intensity itself, or even our diet. And then, of course, we need to track our workouts to ensure that, okay, we are categorically, we are gaining strength. If we're not, there's room to be done, because you should be. Now, part of this is setting up our nutrients around our training. We want to facilitate and help our training be the best it can be. You do that through carbohydrates. So this is more important when you're lean gaining, since you're more sensitive to carbohydrates. This will have a greater effect. So why we do this? Well, our performance throughout the gym will typically start to drop, and sugar will prevent this drop happening sooner. So you get more reps and more strength over, again, 3, 6, 9 months, more muscle. So we want to have some carbohydrates before we train, ideally in the morning, a little bit with our breakfast. Let's say we train in the middle of the day, have a good portion of the carbohydrates, 20 to 50 grams, 1 to 2 grams of salt for hydration. Take that 20 to 40 minutes. It could be whatever you want. Fructose, I don't really care. Sugar, oats, just something that's going to give you that rocket fuel to help you perform. Then the post-workout, similar, 30 to 60 grams of carbs, about an hour afterwards, let your body calm, rest and digest. Rice, potato, oats, whatever you want. You could time that with a nice dinner. That's going to help start the recovery process, because we're capitalizing on a peptide released by the stomach called GLUT4 that just basically helps us utilize carbohydrates better for recovery, for muscle performance. Now, step 3, you just want to run for 1 week and measure your body weight, measure your workouts, tracking them, and of course, look at the mirror, look for changes, assess, readjust, go another week, and you just essentially rinse and repeat this step, and it should look something like this. Your body weight, it should start to slowly climb, and it will start to drop off as your body starts to adapt to these calories and to the changes, and you'll start to hit a bit of a plateau. And then you make the choice here. Do I increase calories? Well, I've stopped gaining strength for 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks. My recovery's on point. Everything's on point, yet I'm still not gaining strength. Okay, maybe it's now time, as my weight has started to plateau and level out. Okay, an additional 150 calories, because remember, your metabolism is adaptive both ways. So as we start to increase calories, we will need to at some point increase them later if we want to keep on giving our body a calorie surplus that it can put those calories to use. And that's something that takes time, is a lot of patience, and that's where coaching can come in and really help with a successful lean gaining phase. Now, maybe you're not quite ready to lean gain. Maybe you've still got a while to go with losing some body fat. Well, if that's the case, why don't you just get that done and dusted and do it properly by watching this video here.